And I'm back, the Workout Gamer here, and I am back to do some reviews about a certain special game that hits a lot of people's heart, hits a lot of people's nostalgia. They claim it's the best one out of the series. I'm talking about Final Fantasy III, aka Final Fantasy VI, and I played this bad boy on the Super Nintendo Classic. And a few things I should probably mention. I've never played this game. I've played it probably on the Vita, on like downloadable, but I never finished it. I got the SNES Classic last year, and I was like, you know what, let me give it some time. Let me give this a true, honest try. So, if you're expecting nostalgia trips or anything, that's not going to happen. I have no nostalgia attachment to this game at all. I'm going to try to vote this and rate this as fair as possible and give you what I think, the good, the bad, the ugly, how I feel about its impact. Does it deserve the impact that it has? There's some green lights on my camera. Alright, we'll figure that out later when I do some editing. Editing. So, here's how I'm going to go about it. There may be spoilers. It's a 20-plus-year-old game, so you probably should. It's been out for a long time. But then again, I'll tell you how I feel. Pick it up, don't pick it up, whatever. So for starters, it's very story heavy. Sometimes that could be a good or bad thing, but in this case it is a very good thing. They immerse you in a world where there's no magic. The Empire is trying to do its best to bring magic back to the world by getting the Espers, trying to get to the world. And they're taking a few people as experiments to see if they can harness this magic. They took two people who really were affected by it were Terra and Kefka. Kefka was driven mad. Terra, you find a whole bunch about her backstory with magic and everything. How I feel about the whole story about this whole game, everything kind of falls into place. It's a simple concept to follow. Empire's trying to get the magic, trying to control the world with magic, and then trying to gain all power. I have to say, Final Fantasy VI has the best villain in all Final Fantasy series, and I really had to think about this. I finished this game, I believe, last week, and I gave myself some time to really dive into this, like let me truly feel how it sinks in. After thinking about it, Kefka really is the best villain, because he actually gets a lot of stuff done. Because if you look at the other villains in some games, some Final Fantasy games I've played, Sephiroth, he killed a lot of Shinra people, he summoned Meteor, and that's about it. Maybe one or two villages were destroyed in the process. Kuja from Final Fantasy IX, he played the politics, he was the man behind the scenes, he tempted the Queen to destroy all the other places, and he was trying to clear up the place so he could bring his planet to merge with the current planet. Very good plot. Final Fantasy VIII, technically, Ultimecia didn't really do anything. She's just a time loop witch where you can't really kill her, and she was frozen in frozen whatever it was, and she didn't really do anything. It was more of the heroes, we gotta find this thing, kill it. That's kind of how, and Seymour from Final Fantasy X, the whole politics thing, just going behind the scenes, becoming someone high in authority, and then all of a sudden, boom, bad guy. Kefka did a lot of stuff, because when you first meet Kefka, he actually is kind of like someone you think like, oh, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I've heard this name. Like, if you had no idea who this guy was, you think of him as a joke. Like the Joker of this world. But he actually does a lot. He kills a lot of people in ways of unethical. Poisoning the water supply, poisoning villages, and he kind of destroys the world and kind of, in a way, he wanted to. That was his whole plan, and gains the ultimate power in the end. And when you get to the final fight with Kefka, it's one of the most beautiful things I've seen. The artwork, how you beat one tier, you slowly move up, beat the other tier, slowly move up to the point where you finally reach Kefka in the heavens. I thought that was really cool. It was a very memorable fight, and I would love to record it, or I would love to have just watch it over and over again because it was iconic. And that's one of the big things when you have a big villain. You gotta have something iconic to remember. Sephiroth, he has One Wing Angel. Everyone remembers that song. But Kefka definitely dominates that because, he was there throughout the whole thing, screwing up your plans, trying to get his thing going, and having that battle at the end, amazing. Some other good stuff about it is I do love a lot of the side stories. You start with Terra, then you kind of throw her away for a little bit because you got Locke, Celeste, the kingdom of Sabin and Edgar. You have all these characters that you learn about, and I'm a big stickler about that. I love video games when it comes to, does the story entice me? Does the characters entice me? What's the music like? This world utilizes it a lot. So the characters are very memorable in their sense of the personalities. You can suplex a freaking train. How cool is that? And, these characters are very much memorable. They have the whole backstories. They have this, they have that. And when you read these things, they're not just little random chatter. It has a good job of progressing story. There are some, I can't name them right now because I'm kind of doing this on the top of my head, but there are some games where like, oh, random chatter, yeah, I remember this. No, this tells a story. Every cutscene tells a story. Every time your group converses, it tells a story. And that's one of the big things that I really do appreciate with this game. I know I have a few more goods. The music. They play the same songs over and over again, different tempos, and of course, back then, they didn't have the technology or, the space to do much, so they really had to play around. I caught myself humming the overworld theme. The ba 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 ba, all that stuff. It's very catchy. Now, let me go into some of the negatives I had about this game. Just like the other earlier Final Fantasies, there's no map. There is a small, tiny map, but it's one of those things where, oh yeah, go find this place. Alright, gotta talk to everyone, kind of figure out where this place is. Something else bothered me about the map. Yeah, the whole, you have no direction. And I'm going to talk about this topic a little later, hand-holding versus not telling you anything. That's going to be a different story, video I'm going to make about that. Excuse me. But, another thing is, as much as I love the characters, there's too many. There was about 13 characters, 13, 14, I don't remember. Some are optional to get. Some, you do have to play certain maps where you have to have 2 parties, 3 parties, but you have Gao. Why do we need Umaru? He doesn't do anything, you can't really do much with him. You have Mimic, which can be useful, but in the end, the way his story ends, it's kind of pointless. When you get to the second half of the game, you don't have to recollect all the characters, which is interesting, but, when your other options are getting these crappy secondary characters that really don't move the plot, really, don't have much to add to the story. Gao is one of the most overpowered characters, but, what's his purpose of fighting? Sure, protect what I don't remember it because I don't really recall much, but he's like, I'm with my friends now. That's kind of the only thing he says. Umaru, you beat him up and then he just joins you. I don't know the whole thing with Go-Go, so some of those characters are kind of obsolete. Some of them are good and can be used in good combos, but I just felt just the surplus of characters. You have a surplus of characters, and a few of them are really pushing the storyline. I want to focus on them versus others. It's just like Final Fantasy XII is a Final Fantasy game I hate the most. It's one of my least favorite games of all time. And if you look at the characters in there, there's 8 characters? But only really 2 of them really matter, which is Ash and Bosch. other than that, it's been a while since I played that game. I really try to erase it from my memory. But those are the only two characters that matter. You have this game, which has way more characters, but in the end, about 5 or 6 of them, half the roster matter. So quality over quantity in this case. Some more negatives. The game could get ridiculously easy. There are some, and I will talk about mechanics in a little bit. Because once you get your magic users to get like the best spells, there's no point in using anyone else. Because this comes, for instance, when I fought Kefka, I had Celeste, Terra, Shadow, and Realm. I had Realm have the X magic where I can just use multiple. Okay, life 3, life 3. Have the other 2 cast life 3. Maybe one of them cast cure 3 to keep the healings going. And at that point, you're solid. Start hammering away with all these different spells. You're good. At that point, there's nothing else you need to do. Give Setzer his fixed dice. If he's in the fight, boom. It really wasn't that hard of a battle. I really didn't have that much issue. A lot of the bosses were a bit underwhelming just because how I had my setup going. And some of the things are an unnecessary grind, like, oh, this shield will teach you this spell if you grind it out a little bit more. Okay. Wasn't a big fan of that, so I didn't really do it. I just changed everyone to have the different spells, have the best equipment and whatnot. And there are some broken mechanics in the game. There are moments depending on certain monsters you fight, they'll get multiple turns even though you set up your commands before they did. Oh, what I mean was, like, I was facing a white dragon. He attacked once. Did one of his big spells. He did the spell or something. I forgot what he did. He attacked. And then a good couple seconds passed by. Like, I had all my commands ready to go. A good couple seconds passed by. Then he got to attack like 3 more times. He didn't have any haste. He didn't have any other spells or anything else on him. And this has happened with even normal creatures, like low tier level creatures, beginning of the game. I feel that whatever the algorithm, whatever the mechanics in the game is, that right there was very, unfair. That could be very, like if you're just trying to level up or grind, get some money, whatever it is, that right there is very annoying. Because you're on a good spree, you've saved it a couple of times, of course, but once like you have all 4 party members have their commands ready to go, and the enemies get 3+ turns right as you put even though they just did their attack, that's kind of ridiculous. And I've noticed that a couple of times. There are, excuse me, oh, damn, I just had lunch. There were a couple of times where there was enemies, like bosses, they wouldn't do that. But when I was just on the Veldt, or trying to get Gauss stuff, or, just going to different places in the world, or doing the dungeons, that would happen. And it would kill probably 2 people, and now I have to, race before they do that again. That was some things that some creatures just had multiple attacks, didn't matter who was going first, who put the commands in first. That was a learning game. That could just be some kind of issue with it. But in the end, what do I think of this game? Does it live up to the hype? Does it live up to what exactly people say? Or is it just another fanboy craze, whatever it is? Honestly, I very much enjoyed the game. But a few years ago when I played it, I played a port of it on the PS Vita. I downloaded it. I didn't think much of it. And that was the port where they did some updates. But getting to play the original one, especially with the SNES controller, honestly, I felt it was a good game. It's a 20-year-old game, and there's going to be more games that I'm going to talk about that are way old that still hold up today. It's one of those games where I'm like, wow, I'm glad I finished that. Story was intriguing, followed it. I have a lot of friends who just love this game. Now I can kind of talk to them about it, what I personally felt, and after they watch this video, they can kind of get the idea. I'm like, alright, it's a solid game. This is what I liked, this is what I didn't like. Pros and cons about it. There's definitely more pros in it, and it definitely is one of those that it is a game changer when it comes to like, you know, the storyline, plot, using the graphics of the Super Nintendo, even though it's the graphics of Super Nintendo. Me watching it right now, all in shock. I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. I love that. That was a cool scene, this and that. And it does, and the music, I used to play music when I was younger, so I kind of have a bias on this. The music's good, it's catchy. I could definitely just set it going and have, you know, listen while I do stuff. But in the end, should you play it? Definitely. Definitely play the original SNES version. The Game Boy version changes a few things. So if you have an SNES Classic, you have a local game store that has Final Fantasy 3 or 6. Go pick it up. It was an interesting game. It was definitely worth my time. It took some time. You're definitely gonna spend. I spent a couple months trying to beat this just because I only played on weekends. But other than that, go get it. Try it out. If it's something you like, awesome. This has been the Workout Gamer. I'm back, baby, and we're gonna keep doing more of these. See you then.